This is the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verses 1 through 5. O Lord Almighty, God of Israel, the soul in anguish, the troubled spirit, cried unto thee. Verse 2, hear, O Lord, and have mercy, for thou art merciful, and have pity upon us, because we have sinned before thee. Verse 3, for thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. Verse 4, O Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto the voice of thee, their God. For the which caused these plagues cleave unto us. Verse 5, remember not the iniquities of our forefathers, but think upon thy power and thy name now at this time. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Harakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace and blessing and salutations to the elect men who continue to push this true gospel throughout the four corners of the earth in these last days. Shalom, Massacre. Shalom. I'm your brother Uriah Ha'am of the GMS Louisiana Saints Camp, coming back at you with another quick lesson pertaining to Bible prophecy. All right, which we're in the year 2020, the year of prophecy. And the Most High's name is Yahweh, which means he exists. Yahweh. It's not Jehovah. It's not Yahweh. It's not Yahuwah. All right, it is Yahweh, which means he exists. As he broke his name down to Moses when you read Exodus, the 3rd chapter, and verse 15 all the way down. His son's name, our great terrible king, Hamashiach, his name is Yahweh Shai, which means he is the deliverer. He is the savior. It's not Yeshua. It ain't Yahshua. It's not Jesus Christ. It is Yahweh Shai. And the real 12 tribes of Israel consist of the so-called Negroes, so-called Latin-speaking people, the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Mexicans, the so-called Haitians, so-called Jamaicans, so-called Cubans, all the way down, okay? We are the real 12 tribes of Israel, okay? Proclaiming this true gospel, all right, in these end times, all right? So as I stated, this is an article entitled, The Forgotten History of America's Worst Racial Massacre. The Forgotten History of America's Worst Racial Massacre, which is Bible prophecy. All right, this is Bible prophecy right here, because it ties in with these scriptures, how we're going to serve our enemies in this captivity over here that we're doing right now. All right, to this present day. All right, it says, hundreds of black citizens were killed in Elaine, Arkansas. Hundreds of black citizens were killed in Elaine, Arkansas a century ago this week, which was heavily entitled Red Summer 1919. All right, Red Summer 1919, because a lot of bloodshed. It's called red because a lot of bloodshed was shed at that time. And then red represents who? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. That's you right there. All right, in Phillips County, which is in the outermost part of Arkansas, which is like a few miles from Memphis, which stretches down the Mississippi River all the way down to Louisiana and Mississippi through Yazoo, Mississippi, the river. All right, Red Summer 1919. You can go look it up on YouTube. Just type it in, Elaine Massacre. It's like a 9-minute video to get you a better depiction in graphic video. All right, of what went on. Red Summer. All right, the book of Genesis, chapter 25. All right. So whenever you read about a racial war like I'm finna read, a massacre like that, it always points to two manner of people, two nations of people, man. Jacob and Esau. I mean, throughout the course of history, you may have the Chinese and the Japanese may have a war, or India, or Pakistan, or some other nation. All right, but ultimately, these race wars are only between the so-called Negroes, so-called Latin-speaking people, so-called Native Americans, the so-called Mexicans, versus who? Esau, the so-called white man. All right? Jacob versus Esau. Let's get it. The book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived. Verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. It was a fight going on. They were trying to kill each other inside of the womb. Ultimately, you know, Jacob was whooping Esau, the so-called white man's ass, inside of that womb, because we're stronger than these other nations. Beginning first with you, Esau. We're stronger than you. The Africans, which are the Hamites, the Arabs, which are Ishmael, the Japanese, which are the Ammonites, the Chinese, which are the Moabites, were stronger than all other nations of people. Exodus 1 and 9 is a precept for that. All right? So they were trying to kill each other inside of this woman's womb. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Why is this happening? What's going on inside of me? Watch this. And she went to inquire of the Lord, seek the Lord, and find out the answers. Verse 23, here we go. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner, which means that word manner means double, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger. Esau is written in the scripture to serve the younger brother. You're to serve Jacob. All right? And the further you read down into it, it predates where we're at right now, which are at the beginning details Jacob holding hand the heel of Esau, stripping him down out of power, man. We at that time right now where this so-called white man is going down. This Bible prophecy. All right? So into the article, it states, 100 years ago this week, one of the worst episodes of racial violence in American history unfolded in Elaine, Arkansas. Why is this not talked about in schools, in the school system? Okay? You don't hear about this. You never heard about this, but it's being revealed through the prophets. Then shall that wicked be revealed. Esau, the so-called white man, you're being revealed for the atrocities that you did to the nation of Israel, man. All right? And it says, a small town on the Mississippi, details remain difficult to verify. I wonder why. I wonder why. The perpetrators suppressed coverage of the events, which the news always do. CNN, fake news, your local weather stations and everything like that, news stations. They don't report this type of news. They suppress it. They keep it under, down. Okay? That's how you know these people are the devil, man. These so-called white people are the devil, man. All right? And it says, the perpetrators suppressed coverage of the events and the victims, terrified black families. These families were terrified. And ultimately, it's the Most High putting the terror on the nation of Israel for disobedience. And I'm going to get that in the precepts. It said, had no one to turn for help. No man shall buy you, shall save you, as it's written of in Deuteronomy 28, 68, man. In fact, local police were complicit in the killing of untold number of African Americans. They suppressed that information. They only gave you a few numbers, man. Esau always do. He do that with the videos that we put up. Okay? How much more of the killing of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans? All right? This is the book of Deuteronomy. Let me get that precept. Like I said I was going to get. Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to get Genesis 27 too. Deuteronomy 28 and verse Deuteronomy 28 and verse 65. Deuteronomy 28, 65. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have no rest. This is not our rest. We are to serve our enemies in this last captivity, day in and day out, man. 24 hours a day. He's going to wear out the saints. All right, as is foretold, Salaki, in the scriptures, man. All right, you're on your feet all day. When you on the plantation in the cotton field, you were what? On your feet all day. The soles of your feet have sores on them, calluses on your feet, man. All right. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, a failing of eyes, weeping, crying, and sorrow of mind, anguish of spirit, in other terms, man. Okay? The spirit's going to be vexed, man. All right? Verse 66. Here we go. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee. You're not going to know if you're going to live to see another day. Okay? Not knowing where your next meal going to come from. Okay? If the crops don't come in, you're going to starve to death. Famine. When it rains, you got to go inside. Okay? Hell, if you're not, Esau, this devil, through the spirit of Yahweh, gonna put a sword on it to have you out there in the field. All right? While it's raining. Okay? With your babies. Okay? Raping your women. Woman seeing her husband getting hung from trees. Okay? I'm finna read about it. Here you go. And thou shalt fear, that's that frightening right there, day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Because this man was coming with the sword which he was blessed with from Isaac, which was Yahweh Shai, the reincarnation. Okay? Esau's weapon, the so-called white man, his weaponry is the sword, man. Okay? Let's read about that sword. The book of Genesis. All right? Because in the article we said what? The black families were terrified, man. They were terrified. All right? And it said what? Had none to turn to for help. In which when they were killed, the police, they suppressed the information by not releasing the total numbers of blacks, so-called blacks that were killed. The book of Genesis, chapter 27, and verse 39. Let's start here. All right, let's start at 38. And Esau said unto his father, read from Genesis 27, 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. Esau wanted a blessing. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. And what do these Amalekites, okay, have right now? The Rothschild family, who funded these type of events like this here, this massacre right here. The slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, okay? They issue in the funds for to make this thing take place like this, man. Because the city has to be funded with money for this to take place like that, man. All right, I'm going to read that too. All right. It says, and of the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, his kingdom, which we're in right now. This is Esau's kingdom, so-called white man, you so-called white people. This is your heaven right here. This is your dominion. This is your kingdom. Yahweh Shai gave you that, man. Pertaining to Colossians 1 and 15, man. All right? And it says that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, man. All right? So back into the article, it states that what? The Elaine massacre was among the worst instances of racial violence in American history. And it took place in a region, the Delta, which stretches, like I said earlier, from Arkansas all the way down to South Louisiana and Mississippi. All right? And it says that defined itself by its violence and oppression, Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. All right? And this by reading this pisses you off by reading this right here, man. All right? One African-American, William Pickens, all right? And for a footnote, you can go get his book off Amazon or wherever you get your books from, okay? I think it's called The American Congo, 1921. You can go get that, man. It's on Amazon, all right? It says Elaine, though an isolated plantation region, I mean it was in a confiscated area, a confined space, okay, secluded, okay, a small ass town. I think I looked it up. It said like only right now, like only a 500 capacity, Only 500 people inside of this little town, man. All right? It says, was part of the broader social upheaval following World War I that came in the form of massive strikes and racial confrontations, both at home and abroad, man. So these things were taking place not only in the Delta, in Arkansas, but it stretched from down there to Memphis, to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, okay? So on and so forth throughout the whole South, man. All right? Let me get that precept. Deuteronomy chapter 4. I intended it to be a quick video, but the spirit rolling. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen. Meaning when this devil Esau, even the so-called white man, slaughters you in the fields and in your cities and everything like that, man, you're going to be left few in number. You're going to be killed. Okay? This the penalty for not keeping your word, which was given to the Lord, to Moses, to the nation of Israel. You didn't keep your end of the bargain. The Most High kept his, but you didn't keep yours. These are the consequences right now that we're serving. All right? Whither the Lord shall lead you, and ye shall serve gods, says your boy Jerry, the white boy, Jesus Christ, who they call on. Okay? And our people still call on this white boy, this red boy. All right? The work of men's hands, wood and stone, which they have in these churches. All right? A picture of Jesus Christ, Serapis Christo, Cesar Borgia of the Borgia family. You can go look him up in these churches. Okay? Which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell, man. All right? So this is the penalty for not keeping the covenant, man. Death. You're going to be left few in number. The Elaine Massacre is a prime example of that, man. This is history right here. All right? Prophecy. It says Elaine sits in Phillips County, a small county. All right? One of the many bends in the Delta, for further info, of the many bends in the Mississippi, roughly 95 southwest of Memphis. There, in the early fall of 1919, a different struggle for democracy was taking place. Here we go. Emboldened by their war experience, because they fought, because Jake was going to fight over there. When I say Jake, I mean Jacob. It's a short term for Jacob. The Israelites were going to fight in World War I, man. All right, were sent out to go fight in battle, man. And when they came home, they were oppressed. You go fight for your country, which is not our country, the so-called country. Jake go carry his ass over there and go fight for these devils over there, man. All right, a war was funded by the Jews, and then come back over here and still get oppressed by the so-called white man, man. That's why when you look at that movie, or the Ali movie, what did he say? He said, you want me to go fight over there and kill the Viet Cong, the Vietnamese, and you won't even stand up for me over here in my own country, for my rights and my religious belief. And then you're going to take me to jail if I don't get killed first. It says, African-American veterans returned to the Delta to demand the full rights of citizenship and justice. Meaning, when you watch the movie on YouTube, or the documentary, Jake rebelled against Esau, man. Okay? Jake rebelled against him, man, and got slaughtered. Why? Because Esau blessed him with a sword. All right? Just like Nat Turner did on the movie Birth of a Nation. All right? It says, not only before the law, but also in their labors in Phillips County, the struggle directly challenged the planter dominance, man. Let's get Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Deuteronomy 28. And Deuteronomy 28, where it is, come on. Deuteronomy 28 and 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt serve over thee, Esau, Edom, so-called white man, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, brought from our land, cast out of the land, out of the Most High sight, out of Israel, brought to West Africa, put on ships, and here we are right here in America, a nation which thou hast never known. The New World. It was called a New World. You got books and videos on that. The New World. The Western Hemisphere. the uttermost part of the earth. It's right here. It says, and thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. Read that earlier, Deuteronomy 4th chapter, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among, what is that talking about? A Negro, a nigger, okay? A boy, a colored, an African American, as it says in this article right here, man. All right? Those are proverbs and bywords, man. Okay? Something other than what you are, man. And Esau, the so-called white man, they know who we are, man. When they got us and we was over here on boats, serving our captivity in the fields and everything, picking cotton, okay? Serving these devils, all right? They knew we were the Israelites. They know this. Deuteronomy 28 and 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Woo! The locust plague. What's happened over there in Africa right now, in the land of Ham? Locusts, all right? Eating the crops, all right? When Jacob served his captivity, which we're still doing right now, the food was getting eaten by the locusts, man. All right? Which resulted into what? Famine. You're not going to eat anything. The Most High going to starve you. Last little bit, because I'm going to do a follow-up video on this here too. It says, the town was at the center of a rapidly changing lumber and plantation economy known for harsh working conditions. Sharecroppers worked the land for a small share of the crop and were forced to sell their cotton to the landowners. And when you look at the documentary, it's going to literally state that Jake spent over $500 on Salaki, got the hiccups, on sharecroppers to bring in the product. I think that the cotton was worth so much to the economy at that time that the so-called white man came in and said, look, you done used up all our shit. Now you got to pay us what you have got right now, which resulted in what, $650, man, to these devils, man. All right. So back into the ark, it says, sharecroppers worked the land for a small share of the crop and were forced to sell their cotton to the landowners who paid less than market prices. You're going to serve your gods, okay? You're going to serve this devil. You want to worship these other gods, okay? You're going to serve him in this land right here. This the price you're going to pay. Workers also had to buy food, clothing, household wares, tools, seed, and fertilizer, and the plantation commissionary, which charged exorbitant interest rates. Woo. And it says it was a system intended to keep black people, that's a proverb and byword right there, black, we're not black, we're brown, different shades of it at that. Black people in debt and dependent upon planters, legal disfranchisement stripped them of the vote. Man, you didn't have no right to do anything, man. You were forbidden to do anything, okay? And an ability to share in any benefits of citizenship. The book of Leviticus, chapter 26, ended off right here. All right? It's the punishment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua on the nation of Israel. Okay? It's being revealed through the prophets right now, though, man. All right? That this thing happened in America, the land of our captivity. Leviticus 26 and verse 15. And if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, which means despise also, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye will break my covenant. Verse 16, I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror. What did it say in the beginning of the article, man? The black families were terrified. You were afraid. You had no assurance of your life. That's the terror of the Lord. He used another nation to bring down, for his whooping stick, okay? To bring you down. And it could be in a various amount of ways that the Most High want his punishment to take place. Death is one of them. Famine is one of them. Bringing on pestilence, plagues. Watch this. Here go one of them right here. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, which means what? A fever, inflammation, for lack of for a better word, so you get an understanding of it. Inflammation. Who has that disease right now among our people? The nation of Israel. We have all these diseases, man. Fevers. When you turn red, okay, you get a rash. Inflammation produces swelling in the body. Okay, where diseases thrive, man. Where the white blood cells struggle to fight it off, man. All right, if your body is not if the immune system is weakened, man. All right, this is the punishment right here, and it says, here you go. That shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, which we read earlier. And ye shall sow your seed in vain. These crops, your sharecroppers and everything like that, planting, and then you gotta pay double, okay, with interest on top of it. You're gonna do all that and not get nothing out of it. Like I said earlier, which resulted into a rebellion. Okay, Jacob rebelled against Esau and died miserably, man. Okay, yeah, that'll piss you off when you go out there in the field and work all this time like this, and it doesn't result to anything like that. That'll make you mad. That'll make you try to take this white man down, man. And the Most High bring him judgment upon you, because he said it wasn't in the Apocrypha, man. Vengeance is mine, man. He that findeth vengeance shall find vengeance from me. All right? Roughly paraphrasing. All right? What was I at in verse 16? And it says, for your enemies shall eat it. That's ties in right with the article, man. Go out there in the field and get your crops, you know, and you're sowing it in vain, and then Esau gonna go right there and eat it, man. The so-called white man. All right? Last verse, verse 17. Leviticus 26 and 17. And I will set my face against you, meaning you're going to be the enemy of the Most High. All right? Hosea 4 and 1. And ye shall be slain before your enemies. There it is. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you, man. They that hate you. Who hates who? Jacob hates Esau. Esau hates Jacob, man. That grain of evil seed was sown. Let me get that real quick. I think I had that, man. Second Esdras. The second Esdras, the 4th chapter. Ended off right here. I said I'm gonna end it off. Look at that the grain of evil seed. I had it. The grain of evil seed. Second Esdras. That 2. That 2. Second Esdras 2. I think it's 4-2. Oh, that's a good one too. Second Esdras, I think that's Second Esdras 4, man. Well, let's get that. Yeah, Second Esdras 2, in verse 27. Be not weary, for when that day of trouble in heaven is coming, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that children shall not see. Be joyful, O thy mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, the Lord. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth, and show mercy unto them, for I am merciful, saith the Lord, man. All right? So with that, I'm going to close the video out. All right? The Most High is going to bring more plagues and more pestilence upon the earth in these latter days, man. All right? And this was Bible prophecy history right here, man. All right, I had that precept. I think it's in Second Esdras, the 4th chapter. All right, but I'm gonna close out, giving all infinite honor and glory and praise as I face the east to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honor to those in the apostle, great millstone, rule and teach well. Peace and blessing and salutation to thee, like men who continue to push this truth. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.